just in your own word, what do you think mental health is?
Sanity in your life. You're just happy with your surroundings, with your okay, happy is again a very deep word, okay, but you're content with your surroundings, or you're accepting, okay, you are accepting your surroundings, yourself, your friends, or whatever is going on in your life. Like for example, right now,
Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today on Sit with Sandra, I have this amazing person here with me. She's going to introduce herself in a second, but first I wanted to again remind you guys that Sit with Sandra is a segment where I talk to Nigerians or people living in Nigeria about mental health, what they think, where they are at with mental health, and just hear from them their honest opinions. So, Mrs. Vibha, please introduce yourself.
hi, thank you for having me, Sandra. My name is Vibha. I live in Nigeria since about 8 years, and I work at a college as a strategist, data management, and in general evaluation and quality control person.
Okay, that sounds like a lot. How do you handle all of that?
What do you mean? I have sound metal.
Of course you do. I don't doubt it. I just mean like it just sounded like a mouthful, right? But again, I mean it's your job, so.
Sometimes words are deceiving, but in this case, they're jargons or they're very, very deep words. Okay. But they have a very simple meaning. If you just break them down, your life becomes very, very simple.
Oh, that's so cool. That is so good. All right, so I'm very interested in this episode today. So can you tell me your very first time, or the very first time you heard about mental health, if you can remember, or just around that time?
So when we were in school, which is like ages ago, we used to have a counselor. We used to speak about depression. We used to speak about not clinical depression. We were not speaking about it too much, but a little bit about loneliness, depression, stress, de-stress, everything. And then when we were in fast forward 20 years, there was this huge talk about stress, anxiety. Okay, so de-stressing became a very big term. Right. In general, but for me, the term mental health, I think it started coining up, or it gained importance during the COVID time as a term. So before that, all the segments of mental health, yes, we would talk about, but not necessarily with the phrase mental health. So for me, it was more into the COVID times. I was like mental health, mental health, mental health, mental health.
Yeah,
okay,
everybody wanted to do something in mental health. Everybody wanted to have a seminar, a project, an event, something, a Zoom call, whatever. Yeah. Oh, mental health in the workplace, mental health at home. I remember that very well. So when you said in school, do you mean like uni, or you mean like earlier education?
Earlier education, secondary school.
Really? This is in India?
Yes.
Oh, good. That is so good. I think it's only now that in Nigerian schools we're beginning to touch on the subjects here and there a little bit in secondary schools. In universities, they are too busy teaching you entrepreneurship studies and GST 101 to focus on teaching you anything about it.
Universities do not have that goal. That's not their focus. Their focus is you're a student, we are a lecturer, we're not teachers. We're not exactly mentoring you for life. It's a different ballgame.
Yeah, but I think what I'm just trying to say is that, like, in our education system, it's not something that you would hear openly in classes, whether at secondary schools or universities. Only recently, in recent years, that you're beginning to see some teachers or some educators take it upon themselves to actually like put it into their curriculum.
To be fair, even in India, it's the same thing. It's not something that is openly talked about.
Okay, that's good. Anyways, just moving on. When did you move to Nigeria?
8 years ago.
8 years ago?
Yeah.
That's not so far.
No.
It's not so far. So when you came into Nigeria, did you experience any culture shock? Generally now, before we come to mental health. Any culture shock at all?
Yes.
Okay, what was it?
Yes. Polygamy was a major culture shock. Really? And the acceptance of it over here was there was a lot of crosses here. It's not something that I was very.
Well, what's that like in India?
And it's totally monogamy.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't see Sure. You don't necessarily hear words like stepfather, stepmother, first marriage, second marriage, third marriage, first wife, second. It's not a concept.
Yeah.
It's not a concept.
Makes so much sense. Yeah.
So,
Anyway, well, that's what we
Yeah.
say. That's how we see it in Nigeria. Anyway. So, when it comes to mental health,
Okay.
did you have any culture shock?
not necessarily, no.
Okay.
Because just like over here in India also, it is not something that you speak about. Especially clinical depression, no.
Yeah.
Most people are not even aware of things like postpartum depression. I mean, yeah, people like me and you live in the cities. Yes, of course they are aware of it. But people who are not too much into Google or too much into tech and, you know, more into, okay, fine, my mother is there, my mother-in-law is there, people are there experienced. So, you know, you're getting knowledge from them. They don't even know about postpartum depression.
I don't disagree with you.
People do not talk about clinical depression. I mean, it is, when you speak about mental health, the first thing that an Indian will talk about is madness. That's mental health.
It's the same here. It's the same here in Nigeria.
So it's pretty similar. And at the end of the day, we come from a society which is more community based, which is not me and myself based. It is me and my 500 people around me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And to me, I think we should take advantage of that because that is the key to to not fall into the pit of depression or loneliness or stress or anything of that sort. To me, that is the key.
I agree with you. I think Nigeria also has that, or maybe not community in the sense of the word that community is, but more like nosiness, right? Nigerians we are nosy people. Let's be honest. You know, you are a nosy person. So it's not like, yeah, I'm not going to doubt that Nigerians actually care to a certain level, but they are asking you, oh, how are you? Oh, I haven't seen Sandra in ages. It's not because most of the time, or for some people, it's not because they genuinely care, because they haven't really seen you. It's because they haven't seen you, so now they don't have any gist. They don't know what's up in your life. They want to know. These are people that you're not even really related to. Maybe you're someone that lives down the street. You know, they haven't seen you in a while. They're like, oh, I haven't seen you. Did you travel? No, because they actually care if you traveled. It's more in the case of, oh, I haven't seen you. What's up with your life? Just to know what's up. And I think that's a good thing as much as it's also a bit of a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because that way, I mean, we've had cases of in countries or in communities where people live in isolation. Like you go there and you are just by yourself. No family, no friends, even people around you is all mind your business. Right? We've read cases of people who maybe someone died and people don't discover till the body decomposes and things like that. But I think Nigeria, we could actually utilize that when it comes to mental health, because we know that
those nosy neighbors are good, right?
Yeah. To a certain degree. I don't like nosy neighbors, but to a certain degree. I mean, one of my neighbors literally knocked at my door during COVID. Knocked at my door, came because I don't expect anybody. I barely leave my house. I love the comfort of my home.
Okay.
So during COVID, during the lockdown, I was at home for like a whole month and I had not even opened my door to go outside.
Wow.
Again, obviously I was already feeling the side effects based on like in relation to my mental health and all that.
Yes.
But I was not interested in going out. I mean, COVID is outside, you know. And then one day I heard a knock on my door. I'm like, that person is going to knock. I'm not going to open the door because I'm not expecting anybody. But then after like constant knocking, I said, okay. And when I opened the door and I saw my neighbor, I don't actually talk to this person much. We just say hi and move on. And I was so surprised, like, why are you knocking on my door? And then he was like, I could see the relief on his face when I opened the door. He was like, oh my God.
You're alive.
I'm like, is everything okay, sir? He was like, I haven't seen you in forever. I thought you were dead. That was his statement. I was like, well, thank you, but I'm okay. I'm very fine. And then he was like, okay, can I get your number just to check and things like that. And when I went into the house, for a minute, I was almost irritated. Like, why are you coming to check on me? Like, why? But then I was like, this actually felt good. Like, again, that little seconds of actually feeling the sunlight also felt good.
Yes.
And then after the moment I felt prepared or ready enough, I went outside for like a walk and all that. But I really, really loved that. And I realized that in my practice as a therapist, I know that a lot of people benefit more from group therapy than individual therapy.
Absolutely.
They benefit. So especially Nigerians who come in with, oh, I don't know how I'm feeling, or I think I'm feeling depressed. they benefit more from group therapy than individual sessions.
I will even go on to say, even Americans and Westerners, we see in a lot of movies that they have these groups that they meet in random places and they just talk about things, you know. And those therapies are much result oriented because you're doing things to even impress the other person, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Do you get?
Yeah. So a friend, during a program I organized sometime last year, a friend of mine had mentioned something. Tammy, shout out to you, Tammy. She said something during the panel session. She was like, if we all put our problems on the table, and we are like, okay, everybody take your problem back, then it's going to be the same thing over and over again. You place your problem on the table and then I carry my problem. But the moment we say, okay, place your problem on the table, now change it and pick someone else's problem and proffer solution to that person, or offer your own advice, or if you've been in that situation, share your experience. That moment, you're going to pick something from someone else, because then you find more healthy coping skills for yourself, right? While also helping someone, because the moment you're holding your own problems to yourself, it's a thing of, oh my god, this problem is going to kill me. Like, if you keep crumbling under that rock. I'm serious, because I know how difficult it can be, right? To just be by yourself. You have so much in your head, but you're not able to process it. In one of these episodes, someone had mentioned that one of her outlets is just to talk about it, and that's one good thing, because for her, it's not a thing of she's talking because she wants your opinion, but she's talking to you because when she says those words out, it helps her, like, it gives her room to, like, process what she's saying and what is in her head, and then she can, yes, exactly. So I think that's very, very important. Anyway,
have you ever thought about a lot of people, in fact most people is what I'm going to say, most people do not know what their problem is.
That's I agree.
So if you say that, okay, are you a happy person, and the person's like, no, not necessarily, because let me say this, but happiness is not a normal thing. Okay, you cannot be extra happy. I mean, there's a whole theory and research on this. Okay, fine, but that person, if you say, okay, what are your problems, share with me, and the person will be like, but I don't have any problems. But you said that you have this issue. So what's the problem? Must I have a problem? And must I know my problem? If I know my problem, that means I even know the solution. Okay? So if you say that, okay, come together, now write down your problems. Most times people don't have a problem to write down.
I don't know if I completely agree with that. I think it's more, they don't know what to write down because they haven't sat down to actually, a lot of people are scared of their own thoughts.
Yes.
They're scared to sit with them. So that's why you're bored at home. I'm talking to you. You're bored, and instead of just sitting and just not doing anything, you either start scrolling through Instagram or you put on something on Netflix. It's because you do not want to sit with yourself. A lot of people are so, they don't want to discover what is in their head. But I feel like the moment you realize this is the problem, you have to sit down with yourself. You have to think, okay, so I feel sad. So, okay, let me do this practical. There's something called wheel of emotions. Possibly you've heard of it. I use it a lot in therapy, especially because a lot of young people come in with, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
Okay, can you give me an emotion? I just don't know. So I usually bring in the wheel of emotion into it. And then I show you the wheel. I printed, and then you choose one of the basic emotions and then, okay, what do you feel right now? Frustrated. Or okay, let's say sad. All right, you feel sad. Good. That's good. We've identified one thing. So the wheel becomes bigger and bigger and bigger with more words in each of, let's say you have sad, angry, happy. When you pick happy, it becomes bigger. So there are different words under it, and then it helps you kind of like channel or understand, okay, maybe I'm not sad, maybe I'm more frustrated.
Yes.
From frustrated, you're like, okay, maybe, and then we can then begin, okay, what's making you frustrated? What happened today? What happened in the last week? What have you gone through? Do you understand? So one thing I think that helps a lot of people is the moment you realize the problem or the trigger for a lot of things, you are one step away from solution, and that's just it.
Yes. And sometimes the solution is just talking about it.
Exactly. Sometimes you just want to talk.
Yep. That's mental health.
I totally agree with you. All right. So now that we've said all of these things, just in your own word, what do you think mental health is?
Sanity in your life.
What does sanity mean?
I don't know how to articulate it. See, this is a problem. Ouch. You're just happy with your surroundings. With your okay, happy is again a very deep word. Okay, but you're content with your surroundings, or you're accepting.
Okay.
Okay, you are accepting your surroundings, yourself, your friends, or whatever is going on in your life. Like for example, right now we are sitting over here. I'm accepting this surrounding. I'm accepting what I'm wearing. I'm accepting what you're wearing. That's mental health. If you're not mentally healthy, there'll be something which is like,
yeah, this needs to
scratching.
I actually like that definition.
Okay.
I like it.
I just coined it up. So
I know, and I love it. I think I'm going to use that like at the beginning of this episode, so people it's so simple, it's so straightforward. We are very good with boxes now in society.
Yeah.
Mental health, mental illness. That's not all there is when it comes to mental health. Mental health is a whole spectrum.
Yes. So you can't put every single thing under it.
Exactly. You can't put every single thing in mental. You're either mentally healthy or you're mentally ill. No. Nobody has. I don't think anybody has a perfect mental health 247.
No, I don't think so.
Exactly.
Either. To me, insecurity is part of life. If you are not insecure about something, which means that you're not scared, you're not anxious, you don't have any anxiety, and I don't think that's reality.
Yeah.
If you start talking to me about my kids, I'm insecure.